discovered there's a hidden passageway in Animal Jam's new adventure, The Front Lines. What you may not know is that there is a second chamber. In this chamber, there's a pool of water with a sparkling thing suspended inside it, and Phantom Sludge draped across the rocks. As soon as the player clicks on the sparkle, Greely appears next to the water. He reveals that the sparkle, a garish earring as he calls it, belongs to the Alpha Peck. I found this situation very mysterious, so I'd like you to consider 3 key points. 1. There's Phantom Sludge in this chamber, but there wasn't any in the previous chamber. 2. Peck's earring is there, but the rabbit herself is nowhere to be seen. 3. Greely seems to have been just waiting for you to come along. I have 3 theories of how this transpired. The first and most obvious is that the Phantoms kidnapped Peck, and she left her earring as a sign if anyone came across it. And because the Phantom Fortress is revealed at the end of the adventure, that must be where they took her. And because this is the most likely theory, you can assume that in the next adventure you'll need to free Peck from the Phantom Fortress. The second theory brings a darker aspect to the table. What if Peck set this up? She herself could have dropped her earring into the water as a decoy. Knowing that the Alphas would look for her, she spread the Phantom Sludge over the cavern to make them think that the Phantoms had taken her to the fortress. And after they found the earring and made this assumption, they would go there and walk straight into a trap. This idea leads me to think that Peck was infected by an outside influence. We know her as a cheerful, energetic character, and I don't believe she would trick her closest friends if she was in control of her mind. Because the Phantoms are the dominant villains in Animal Jam, it's most likely that the force influencing Peck is some kind of phantom pollution, making her their slave. If we meet her in the fortress, she'll probably be called Phantom Peck or Dark Peck or something along those lines. I'm getting a little carried away with the drama there. After all, Animal Jam is a game created mostly for younger kids, and I don't think they'd introduce something so sinister. But you have to admit that it makes sense in a twisted sort of way. Now, on to the third theory. It's definitely unlikely, but still somewhat possible. This final idea is that Greely himself did something to Peck. It can't be a coincidence that he appears just as you find Peck's earring. His words don't seem very suspicious, but can we determine his obviously disdainful tone as normal Greely or something else? The only reason that this may be possible is that because in the wild, wolves eat rabbits. Simple as that. Admittedly, in the game, Peck's nearly as big as Greely, so he probably didn't eat her. And just to set your suspicions at rest, I'll tell you why this didn't happen. The tiger trooper you released claimed they heard howling in the caves, which must mean that Greely was howling. We can infer that this was a sound of grief, which means that Greely put 2 and 2 together and realized that the Phantoms took Peck. I truly believe that they were friends and that Greely would not harm her. Going back to the first theory, remember the search for Greely? In the Phantom Complex, there were posters of the Alphas and Greely's was marked red. You could obviously see that the Phantoms wanted to capture the Alphas, making my first theory all the more likely. Thanks for listening to this Animal Jam theory. Tell me in the comments section below which theory you think is the most likely. Goodbye.